Hello there, my name is Jonathan and this is Jonathan's Days. This is episode something of my knitting podcast. This is the last episode of the year. Thank you so much for being here and thank you so much for subscribing. I hope all of you who watched the most recent episode made use of the lovely discount code for my very first pattern, the Buska hat, and that you've enjoyed it. Thank you for the warm reception to it. Everyone who's made the pattern already, it's been absolutely amazing. And I just want to say thank you so much for downloading and enjoying and making. I hope you like it. It is for you, it is a gift for you. So if you haven't made use of that code, you'll have little to no time because the code is up until the end of this year. So if you're watching this in 2024, you're too late. But if you're still watching this towards the end of the year when this video goes up, you have about 48 more hours maybe to catch the download before it finishes. And then after that, it will just be available for sale on Ravelry. So this episode, I have a couple of finished objects for you, and I've got some whips you've already seen, and then one new whip that I'm very, very excited, my Christmas cast on whip. So let's start with finished objects. The first finished object is what I'm wearing, which is finally off my needles. This is my Bumpy by Max the Knitter. This is knit out of Garcons British DK in the color Abador's Waters, and the stripes along here are Spincycle Nocturne in the color Daytripper. This has been on my needles for quite a long time for me. Most sweaters and jumpers and cardigans, well, this is my first cardigan, but most of those, 3 weeks to a month maybe is how long it usually takes me to finish a jumper. And this has been on my needles since at least October, because I definitely cast it on before I went to New York. And it was my travel knitting, which is great. The problem is that Christmas came along and this was pushed to the back while I finished some gift knitting, and so I only managed to finish this actually on Christmas Day. Yes, Christmas Day was when I actually managed to finish it. Now let me stand up for a second so you can get a little bit of a better view. So I'm quite happy with how the stripes lined up on my sleeves. I didn't do any kind of color management or anything like that. It's just kind of how it ended up being, but I'm really happy with how the color changes on the stripes for the whole way down. It's quite long, you can't see, but it does kind of cover my butt. So it's quite it's an open cardigan, so it just sits open like this. There's no closure or anything like that. I'm pretty sure you probably could add a closure, but I don't think it needs it. I think it's quite nice the way it is. It's knit top down. There's an I-cord edge the entire way, so it's amazing how neatly finished it is, and it looks so professional. If you throw in a Italian bind off or a tubular bind off on the cuffs, you've got just a very professional looking garment. And I think because of the I-cord stripes or bumps, it gives it a look that you wouldn't be able to buy in a shop, which is what I really like about it, and it's what draws me to a lot of knits. I want to make something that you can't buy. It's only something that kind of can be made by hand, or that you would see made by hand. So I am so happy with it. It's just literally come off the blocking mat, and this is the first time I've worn it. This is the size 4. So it's usually in Max's patterns, I do a size 3. This is a size 4, which fits me pretty well. I thought it would be oversized on me, but it's actually fits just perfect. I know Max himself would do a 3 or a 4. He's kind of leaning more towards 4s now, but I actually like the fit of the 4 on me. The yarn is fantastic. This is the first time I've used the one of their British bases, and I'm so happy with it. It was such a pleasure to knit with. It's so it's non-superwash, so it's not cashmere merino soft, but it is so soft and so pleasurable to knit with. The texture is really, really nice. I was absolutely thrilled the whole time. I was every time I got to a section with this yarn, I just enjoyed it so much. It's knit up in 3.75 millimeter needles, so it's on the lower range. It's a DK weight pattern, but the fabric it creates is just Really, really, really comfortable, beautiful. It is warm. As soon as I put it on, I was wearing it around while I was just pottering about the house. It's so warm. So it's definitely like a nice, cozy, cozy knit. What else do I want to say about it? Okay, so construction-wise, you can look up how Max does the actual bumps. He has a tutorial on the Les Garcons channel, how to do it. But essentially it is a I-cord bind off, and then you pick back up the stitches, and each section is knit down from there. The nice thing about it is that you can like try it on, because essentially you kind of cast off nearly all of the stitches and then pick them back up, so you can kind of try it on as you cast off. If you do not enjoy doing I-cord bind offs, you might not enjoy this pattern, just because you have to do it so many times. If you want to improve and, you know, become better friends with an I-cord bind off, this is definitely the pattern to do. It did take me a long time to knit this. I think even if I had been working on it without having to stop to make gift knits, it still would have taken me quite a while to finish this, just because the I-cord bind off is so like labor intensive compared to other stitches. Like, you do have to focus on it. You do have to keep an eye on what you're doing. So just to be aware of that for sure, that, you know, you do have to you have to bind off and pick up stitches. They're two kind of techniques that you'll use constantly throughout this pattern. So if you don't enjoy doing those, or you want to improve, you know, just some awareness on that. The other thing, is there anything else I want to say about construction? There's a lot of ends to weave in, a lot more than I thought. Like, every stripe will have another end to weave in. So I did spend a good hour and a half weaving in ends the other night, but I wanted it to be finished really well. So I just took the time to do it really well, so that it, you know, will be quite nice on the inside. Like, there are just the little ends there, but they've been woven in very, very carefully. I wove them in while I was watching Doctor Who. So yes. Anything else I want to say? There's a very nice detail on the inside of the sleeve, which is a little bit of ribbing, which I really, really enjoy. It's super comfortable. I was kind of concerned that the bumps would kind of feel strange on my body, but I actually really, really enjoy how they feel. I also know Max is going to be releasing a a sweater version of this, which looks really, really cool, and it has the after you do the stripe, you're going to weave in your tail, so it gives it a slightly different look. It's quite cool. So I'm considering that. We'll see for the future. But yeah, I really, really have enjoyed it. In my size 4, I didn't use a lot of so it's 2 skeins of the Spincycle. I didn't use a lot of the second skein. I think it was only the last 1 or 2 stripes, I believe. If I look, maybe the last 2 stripes on the body. Because I always do, when I knit top down, I do the, until the sleeves split, I always do the sleeves first and then the body. Oh, and also, because it's a cardigan, you're knitting flat. So just to be aware of that, you're not steeking. But, you know, part of the thing I wanted to do this year was make more of a friend with purling. And I think I've really been doing that recently, which is great. And I've really, really enjoyed working on it. I'm so happy with the final product, and it's my birthday tomorrow, or it's my birthday today, depending on when I get this up and when I get it edited. But this is what I'm going to wear on my birthday, so I'm super excited about it. So yeah, this is the Bumpy cardigan. Taking me a while, but it's my first cardigan, and let me tell you, I think I'm in my cardigan era. I have yarn for 2 cardigans, maybe even 3, kind of in my stash ready to go. And as soon as I actually start going with those, you're going to hear about it. But I've really enjoyed making this cardigan. I think I'm going to really enjoy wearing it. I am working on a sweater now that I'll show you in a second, but once that's done, definitely going to jump back on the cardigan train, because I feel like they're just so nice, so versatile, and nice to throw on at home, keep you warm, and also nice to wear out and layer with different pieces. Wearing it with the t-shirt today, but we'll be wearing it with a shirt tomorrow. So yes, highly recommend. Pattern is great, super well written, super clear. Didn't struggle at any point with figuring things out. There's a bit of at the same time going on the sleeves, but by the time you get to the sleeves, you're so used to doing the I-cord stripes, it's not, you know, a worry that you have to decrease and do the sleeves at the same time. Just read through the pattern fully and then start from there. So yeah, that is my Bumpy cardigan by Max the Knitter. Absolutely love it. Would I make another one? No, I'd probably make the sweater before I make another one of these, but yes, highly recommend this one. And yeah, that's it for this. The next finished objects, we're gonna do some movie magic, and we're actually gonna go back in time, because my next 2 finished objects are actually 2 gift knits, and because I had to give them to my partner, one was a gift for him and one was a gift for his niece, it meant that I finished them with whatever time I had, and it was right before Christmas, so I had to actually give them to him. So what I did is I set up my camera and I just filmed a little bit of me talking about them as finished objects. So we're gonna go back in time to Jonathan before Christmas, and he's gonna tell you about these other 2 finished objects. So some movie magic, let's go back in time. So it's me, Jonathan from the past, to talk to you about 2 finished objects that I completed last week that I had to send off with my lovely partner, because one of them was his Christmas gift, which was a jumper, and the other was a gift for his little niece, who is just a little bit older than 1 years old, and it was a little bit cold where they were recently, so his mother requested a pair of mittens, and so then he requested I make her a pair of mittens, so we'll talk about those. But first, let's talk about the jumper, the sweater, which you will know of if you watched the last episode. This is a jumper that I have knit once before for myself. I started knitting it in a different colorway, but all my dye lots were different, and it didn't work out. If you want to hear more about that, you can look at the previous video. But otherwise, it's all finished now with the new color. It's the one I'm wearing now. It's not for me, it fits me. We don't really share clothes as a couple, but this one does fit me. It's the same size that I knit for myself, and obviously I knit it to his arm length and his body length. The yarn I'm using is the one called for in the pattern, which was Rosa Pomar Mondim. And this is the color 301, so I believe it is a blue that has been dyed over a grey base from what I can figure. And the pattern is the So Basic sweater by Maxim Cyr, Max the Knitter. So I made the size 3, and this is knit up on 3.5mm needles using fingering weight yarn, which is this Mondim. So yes, it did really show how much I loved and cared for my partner to make such a time-consuming project, I would say. I knew he'd like the color, and he already picked which design he liked, so I knew he would like it. But yes, I'm really, really happy with it. I will stand up. It's a nice raglan detail here, blowing out a little bit. And yeah, so it is a really nice basic sweater, which is what I wanted to make for him, and something I knew he would wear. I wanted something that would be smart enough that he could wear to work if he wanted to, and I feel like this nice detail on the sleeves is really, really nice. There's no shaping in the body or anything like that. It's just straight down, so just a really simple basic sweater. It was super enjoyable to knit. I really did enjoy it. It did take a bit more time, but I really didn't mind. I am very happy now to be back selfishly knitting on my own projects, but I was happy to make something for him that I know he would really like and use. And because it's fingering weight, it can kind of work right through into spring because it's not super heavy. I will say the Portuguese wool from Mondim is nice and warm. Even now I can feel that it's I'm warming up from it, even though it's nice and thin as a piece. The sleeves are a bit long, but I did find with my one, as it kind of stretches out with the rib texture here, as you wear it, it will kind of reduce the length a bit. So the length on the sleeves on my one, which is a purple one knit in Garcons, the sleeves have come up quite short. Other nice detail is the kind of faux seam that goes along the inside of the arm, which is quite nice. I wasn't too sure about it. When I got to it, I was like, oh, are we really doing this? And then I'm actually quite happy with it. I think it looks super nice. What else to say about it? There's not much else to say about it. It is one of the pieces that I do recommend if you have someone in your life who wants a really, you want to make them something that's simple, well-fitted, great instructions. This is one of the ones that I really do recommend if you have a partner or husband or a son or a nephew or someone in your life. I get asked a lot about that, and this is one of those ones. It is obviously more of a time commitment because it's fingering weight on and only on 3.5mm needles, so it will take some time, but I do think it's a very like wearable piece, and hopefully he'll get some compliments on it and he can say that I made it for him. So I'm really happy with that. That's the So Basic. It's the main project I got finished in the last couple of weeks. I really had to put everything off on the back burner while I got that done. And the other thing that I got finished was a pair of mittens for his niece. They're still a tiny bit damp because they've just come off the from blocking, and they've got like the ends need to be finally snipped. But here they are. These mittens, I am going to flash the name of the pattern on the screen because I kind of forget, and I don't think I'm able to pronounce it, or it's like not a English name if I'm right. I could be wrong. These are knit up in Sandnes Garn Sunday, which is this. And this is the color, I think it's called Dusty Pink. Yeah, it's called Dusty Pink on the website where I ordered it from, which I believe was Knit Yarns. But here it says the color is 4332. And it is, yeah, exactly that. It is a dusty pink, which I thought was quite nice, kind of, you know, a neutral pink. And it's the first time I've ever used Sunday. It's quite nice. It's 100% merino wool, non-superwash. I barely use, I mean, the ball is 50 grams. Yeah, a 50 gram ball. And these mittens, boop, boop. These ones are the 2 to 3 years old. The actual pattern has like color blocking, but I only wanted to get like one ball of yarn and just use one color just for simplicity's sake and to get through it quite quickly. The interesting thing is that like PetiteKnit patterns are like straightforward, but I don't think they help you along. They do kind of assume you know how to do a lot of techniques and you know how to knit a lot of techniques, and you're able to kind of go through things with confidence without too much detail. They are just like a super simple mitten pattern. I think they're really super cute. Do I recommend the pattern? I guess. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know if there would be like, you know, I paid a couple of pounds for the pattern. It was fine. I might have been able to find a free one even on Ravelry if I had the time to kind of hunt and look, but I guess you can kind of rely on PetiteKnit, especially since they have like so many children that I assume that they are pretty confident in making winter knits for kids. So yeah, they're quite cute, simple, plain. They have a folded, you can see my ends sticking out there, which will be trimmed, but they have like a double folded cuff, which is quite nice, and I quite like that because it will like keep it on as well as keep them warm. And what else to say? Yeah, the double Sunday is like super thin fingering, super thin fingering. I understand why people would double it up. I think I might use some of this actually in my next hot water bottle cover. But yeah, it's 100% merino, so I hope it's going to be really warm and soft and nice. I also got, where are they? Am I sitting on them? I also got some of these on Amazon. I don't know if, I'm assuming a lot of people know what these are. These are, we call them mitten minders growing up. Well, we used to do we had the ones that had a string that would go through the back of your jacket or your coat when you were a kid. These ones are just like a piece of elastic, and then they just like clip onto the mittens, which then clip onto your sleeves or your coat so that they don't lose them. So I got those as well to go along with it. I thought it was a nice kind of extra add-in just to make sure that they don't get lost. But yeah, so like 2 little mitten minders, a little pair of mittens I thought was a nice little gift rather than buying them. And yeah, I hope they fit. I hope they get lots of use. My partner's niece, she's just past 1 year old, but we thought it was like 0 to 1, and then 2 to 3 was the next size. We just thought 2 to 3 was probably the better option to give her some use out of them into the near future. But yeah, so that's the other finished object that I did, my tiny little pair of mittens from PetiteKnit. And so yeah, that's those 2 finished objects, which were my 2 gift knits this year. And now back to you in the future, Jonathan. I hope everything's good a week from now. Bye. Wow, thank you so much, past Jonathan, for sharing about those lovely 2 finished objects. I can tell you that the mother and grandmother of his niece were very happy with the gift of the mittens for the lovely child, and I'm very excited to see her wearing them and making use out of them. I think they might be a little bit big, but it's okay. Definitely something that they can grow into. And I'm also so happy with the So Basic sweater, and my partner's been wearing it tons on his trip and sending me photos, so it just makes me so happy that he's getting use out of it. So let's move on to some works in progress. I'm going to go through very quickly about 2 works in progress which you've seen before, but I haven't quite finished them, but I'm nearly there on both of them. And I just wanted to tell you what I've been getting up to. It's so interesting how the gift knitting really kind of like kicked my rhythm and what I was working on kind of to the curb, and then I'm like have to kind of get back on the train of getting things done. But to talk through quickly, I've got my Geometer mittens, more mittens, Geometer mittens. I showed you these last time. So here's the first one. There we go. And I am a little ways into, everything's gonna come about halfway through this second one. That is my stomach growling. Halfway through the second one. And as a pair, let's see if I can hold them like this. They're looking very cool. So these are knit out of Rosa Pomar Mondim is the main color, in the color 300, which is the brown. And then the color changing yarn is Spincycle, dyed in the wool, in the color Holy Toledo. And so I'm halfway through the second mitten. I have to do the thumbs on both. I actually, what was I doing? Was I doing color work? Maybe it was just doing the thumb on the kids' mittens. I was doing it with Magic Loop, and I actually felt pretty confident about that. So hopefully I'll be able to do the color work and Magic Loop on these thumbs, since Magic Loop isn't my regular preferred method of working in the round. But again, super happy with these, really excited to have them. Hopefully I can get them done within the next week or so. It's going to get a little bit colder here in London again, so it will be nice to have a fresh pair of mittens. And because it's color work as well, they're going to be extra warm, and yeah, I'm just very excited about them. But I wanted to show how a little bit of progress on them, and by next episode I should have them all finished up and keeping my hands toasty. Next work in progress. This one I haven't shown you for a while, but I hadn't worked on it for a while. I hadn't shown you for a while, but I hadn't worked on it for a while. I think the last time I worked on it was in New York, because it is a really simple project, and I had it as kind of like my, kind of call it my like on-the-go coffee project. Like if I'm in a cafe and I just want to pull out and do a few rows, this is what I've been working on. So this is it. This, I guess, it's not a Sophie scarf, it's not a field shawl. It is a, like, I would say it's inspired by the Sophie scarf by PetiteKnit, but the pattern essentially is the field shawl by Max the Knitter, but I've used completely different size needles and gauge, and haven't done the stripes or anything like that. And I'm literally knitting until I've taken a ball of fingering weight yarn, held it with some mohair, split the fingering weight yarn 100 grams in 50-50, and I'm literally knitting until the ball of yarn finishes, and then I'm knitting till the ball of yarn finishes, increasing, and then as soon as that finishes, I will add the second 50-gram ball and decrease down. So it'll just create like a small little scarf. The yarns are, so the mohair is knitting for Olive. I'm gonna pull out the ball band. Do I have one with a ball band? I do. This is knitting for Olive in the color Dusty Olive. And then the main color is All You Need Is Love in Barcelona. It's their cashmere something. It'll be on the screen. Apologies, I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's this very cool green color, which looks absolutely perfect and amazing with the mohair. It's so soft. I know there's definitely cashmere in the All You Need Is Love yarn, and just combined with the mohair, it's just made such a lovely fabric. Annoyingly, I did that thing where I didn't on the I-cord edge, I forgot to slip the 3 stitches and just knit them. So I have like a weird random garter bump, and I could probably drop down, but it's one of those things like, how annoyed am I going to be? Am I going to keep going, or am I going to drop down all this mohair to try and fix it? I don't know, but I'm nearly finished the first ball, so I'm about to decrease off, and I would like to get this done because there's kind of like a lot of like shawls that I want to make and neck accessories I want to make, but I want to clear off some other things on my needles before I do that. So that is the Sophie Scarfield shawl, what have you, garter, mini garter shawl, let's call it, that I've been working on, and I'm just really, really happy to have a really nice basic pattern, basic shape that creates such a really soft fabric that I'm going to wear a lot because it's comfortable and easy to throw on. It's not complicated. It doesn't have 100 colors in it, so it'll be easy to wear and match with my wardrobe. So that's why I wanted to make that. And I've been using up some yarn from my stash, which is great. And so the final whip, we're moving quickly today. The final whip is my Christmas cast on. Every year I cast on something on Christmas. It originally was Christmas Eve, but this year the Bumpy cardigan took a bit longer. My dream would be to have it finished before I went home for Christmas in Ireland, but in the end I ended up finishing this on Christmas Day and casting on Christmas Day for this project. The goal was to... The other reason I wanted to cast on Christmas Eve is because it's someone's birthday on Christmas Eve, so it's a fun celebration of that. But for the last 2 years, and this year included, so it's my 3rd year in a row, I've always cast something on Christmas Eve. The first time it was the Yesteryear sweater by Max, the knitter. Last year it was the Alpenglow sweater by Andrew Mowry, and this year it has been the Nightfall sweater by Max, which comes in the latest issue of Liner magazine, which is Winter 2024, number 19. And let me pull. You might have seen this online. It's been very popular. These are the photos of it. And as of now, I've actually just pulled it. I have it on a stitch holder because I was just trying it on. So it looks a bit funny. Let's try and make it as pretty as possible for when I hold it up for you. So here is as far as I've gotten. Let me hold it up. See if I can hold it. And then there's this detail here. Cool. So I'm a little ways into the yoke. I'd say maybe 2/3, just over halfway maybe through the yoke. So the colors are, I've grabbed the ball band. So I'll hold it like this. This is so funny. The black, which is like the main color in the version I'm doing, is Moira's Black Rose. And this is all British 4-ply, by the way. So the black is Moira's Black Rose. This is all Les Garcons hand-dyed. If you didn't know, this is the yarn that's called for in the pattern. As soon as I saw the pattern released, I immediately ordered this yarn. I knew exactly that it was going to be my Christmas cast on. It was something I wanted. Yes, so the black, Moira's Black Rose. Then Kirby's pink is the pink kind of color you'll see specking. It's here in this striped section. The gray color is Meredith's gray. So this part here, this is Meredith's gray, Kirby's pink, Moira's black. And then the green color that you see on the ribbing, of course, is Jonathan's Soft Day, which is my colorway. And so I couldn't resist getting this one. I think especially it's meant to be near my eyes. So let's see if that, picks it up. But I am obsessed with this. I cast this on Christmas Day, 25th. So what are we now, 29th? So 4 days. I've just been obsessed with it. I'm really in that very addictive moment with this. It was even hard to film this video for you right now because I just want to knit on this. That's all I want to do. But I'm taking my time and enjoying it. The color work is super, super nice, super fun. It is British 4-ply, so it is like a fingering weight yarn, fingering weight sweater. It is knit on 3.25 millimeter needles with the ribbing on 2.75 millimeter needles. Yes. So it is, you know, it's going to be a bit of a time commitment, I guess, probably the best way to say it. But I don't mind. I think it's going to be one of the most amazing things I've ever made, and I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to be up there with my Yesteryears, also by Max, which is like just an epic pattern, and I've just been enjoying the color work. The magazine, I messaged Max about this actually. The magazine has a couple of rows that are 3 colors, but I was watching the Les Garcons happy hour video yesterday, and Max was talking about how all the rows are 2 color, and even he's wearing his sample towards the end of the video, and I can see there's a difference in his versus what's in the magazine. So I don't know if it's an error. So do watch out for that if you do plan on knitting this. And so it's actually this row here where you can see the blips of pink and gray. It's hard to see on mine because the gray and the green, the Jonathan Soft Day and the gray are pretty similar, but basically here it's a 3-color color work round, which is, there's not supposed to be there. It's meant to all be two color work. So I didn't realize that. I just followed the pattern and did 3 colors, which is fine. I've kind of gotten better at 3 color work. And so I'm going to continue that for the rest of the pattern. It's only like a couple more rows that will happen, but I'm just going to continue the same for the sake of keeping everything uniform. But essentially you can do it all 2 color rows. And yeah, I'm loving it. I'm just going to keep blasting away at it because I'm so excited to like have this, and I'm so much enjoying the pattern. The yarn, again, it's the British 4-ply. It is wonderful to work with. It's so soft and lovely. It's one of those ones that I can't wait to block it as well. It's going to smooth everything out, and it's just going to be so nice and warm to wear. So I'm really excited on that. This one I am knitting the size 3, which will give me, I think, an inch or 2 of positive ease for me. And yeah, the instructions, I mean, I wouldn't do it as your first colorwork project, but since I've done a fair few now and I'm used to Max's patterns, it's not a worry. It does have short rows in the back. So those are back there when you first start off. And then it's quite nice because the color work actually continues beyond the split for the sleeves. So I'm excited for that. The one thing is that obviously I'm knitting with essentially black yarn. So at this time of year, that can be a bit challenging, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. I'm so excited for the finished product, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So highly recommend that. It's only available in the latest issue of Lina for now, but I'm sure it'll be released as a single pattern in the future. Les Garcons does have kits for this in the shop, and you know, I just pick the colors myself. But if you do want this, you can always drop them an email and ask for Jonathan Special, and I'm sure they'll reach out to me and ask me what colors they are. But yeah, I'm super, super excited about this. I love that one of the colors is my color, and I am going to stop talking because I can't wait to put this back on the needles and keep on working on it. So that is my last whip for now. I am looking forward to getting some more socks on my needles once that scarf is done and the gloves are done, and that's kind of and more cardigans. That's all that's kind of in my plans for knitting in the very near future. So I had a lovely Christmas at home in Ireland with my family, and it was wonderful. Lots of knitting time, a little bit of nature, and just got to enjoy the fresh air and quiet of Ireland. I also gifted 2 of my brothers and my dad My buska hats I ended up making 4 of them. I think I mentioned before, 4 different prototypes and versions of it for the final version. And so that's more hats than I can wear. So I gifted them to my brothers, which is so nice to go for like a walk on Christmas Eve with my family, and my 3 brothers. My 2 brothers and my dad are all wearing their hats. So now I have to make one. I have 3 brothers in total. So I probably should make one more hat for him and send that off to him. But it was a wonderful, relaxing time. And as I mentioned, it's my birthday at the end of the year. So looking forward to celebrating that. Gonna hit up a yarn store and treat myself to more yarn, because what better way to celebrate is there than having yarn? I hope that you are keeping very well. Thank you so much for this year. What a year it's been. Not only have I made so many more things and tried new skills and enjoyed my knitting as I often have, I've also got to meet so many of you, go on adventures, strengthen bonds with good friends, release my first knitting pattern. It has been just a wonderful year, and I'm so grateful to everyone who watches this, everyone who comments, everyone who likes, everyone who got my pattern. And yeah, just, you know, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I do this because I really love it. I enjoy it. It makes me happy, and I'm so proud to be part of this community that's so full of love and creativity and passion. So I'm so excited for next year. I'm so excited for your next year. Please drop a comment down below. Let me know what you're working on. We're finished with the holidays now, so I hope you're working on some selfish knits for yourself. You're treating yourself. Did you do a Christmas cast on? Do you have New Year plans? What's new for you in 2024? Are you trying a new technique? What are your goals? Let me know all of those things. Up next for me is probably one of my favorite videos to make of the year, which is everything I've knit in the previous year. So look forward to that. That'll be coming in probably the next week or so. And I'm thinking of doing a ranking. Might be fun to like rank everything I've knit, if you've ever watched those ranking videos, or I might just do the classic fashion show and talk a little bit about everything. We'll see. I'd also love to know what you want to see from me next year. Do you want, we're going to keep always doing podcasts, but do you want more patterns? Do you want a newsletter? Do you want a live? Do you want, I don't know, more interactive stuff? Let me know anything that you'd like to get involved in or do. Please do drop a comment down below and let me know. So yes, thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you so much for watching all year long, for those of you old and new. I'm so excited for next year and so excited for what we're all going to make in 2024. So thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Bye.